What is success like for you now, and how does that differ from what you define success as you were building your membership back in the first year?
When I think about success for me, is just really doing something that I thought would help a lot of people, but selfishly would help me as well.
What is options trading?
When you're trading options, options is the ability to control the stock without actually owning it.
Welcome to another episode, the second one with Jason Brown. And if you didn't hear the first episode, well, hi, Jason. How's it going?
Glad to be back. Part two.
Part two. So, what are we talking about? Well, in part one, it was a segment before we hit record where you get to hear all of that good conversation with another online course creator, entrepreneur, to really learn about them because I felt like we all just come across as so one dimensional, and I don't get to know all the cool people that are doing great things online. Jason is one of those who he started this course, this membership called Power Trade University. And more recently, he started another thing, if you will. It's a movement called the 5 Year Millionaire Program. And he's the host of a podcast with the same name, like giving people a vision to create 1 million in 5 years in a very controlled way using stock options trading to build wealth. And I needed to have Jason on the podcast. Why? Because he was very instrumental in my initial decision to quit my day job way back in 2018 and start my first online business. And we were talking about it at the beginning of the previous episode, but you're doing the thing that you're passionate about, and only later do you realize the impact that you have on other people's life, whatever you want to call it, the ripple effect. It's just the impact where you're pursuing your passion, you're going after this opportunity to serve people with your gift and passion, and it really is changing your life. And so, Jason, I had you on this podcast because you did impact my life, and I'm not sure where I would be now if I hadn't have taken that first jump leap of faith, albeit it was a measured leap of faith. I had a whole bunch of savings saved up to start my first business teaching Chinese. So with that, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And like I said earlier, just so cool to know that me jumping on a podcast and sharing my story has inspired somebody else. And that's why I love doing these. You just never know who's listening, what they're going to take from it, how you're going to change their life. Because somebody changed my life when I listened to their podcast. And yeah, this information isn't to be kept to yourself. It's about getting your story out there and sharing it so you can help other people. So I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I agree. The story is not to be kept to yourself. So we're here to talk about your membership. Memberships can be super complex. And I came here with a mission on this episode, Jason. If you could break down what you define as success in a membership and touch upon the differences between what went into building success when you got started versus maintaining success in your membership. And of course, if you're down with it, you can share some numbers and the nitty gritty because lots of people want to know what do I actually what should my membership prices be, and what should be the difference between monthly and annual, and the tactical parts too. But let's start with this: success. What does success look for you now, and how does that differ from what you define success as you were building your membership back in the first year?
Yeah, success is always an interesting word to me because success could fall in the form of money, could fall in the form of just doing something you always wanted to do, whether you make no money. Uh, and so when I think about success for me, and I hope more people look at success like this, but when I think about success for me, is just really doing something that I thought would help a lot of people, but selfishly would help me as well. And when I say that, I mean, when I look back at the stock market for me, just growing up, black kid from Detroit, poor, like nobody was into the stock market. I mean, a lot of people are now, but nobody was back then. So I was like, man, I wish I had a place where I could talk to other traders. I wish I had a place to ask, what are you seeing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Why are you buying? Why are you selling? And so Success initially was just like finding a place where I could talk about stocks to people. And I didn't wake up and say I wanted to create a membership. I started doing like live seminars out of Starbucks, out of coffee houses, out of the library. I was doing live seminars around Metro Detroit. And one day what happened was we kind of had like a little bit of a winter storm or rain or something like that. And like I had still went to do the seminar and I'm bringing my projector. We would bring like little food or snacks for people. I mean, we were actually spending money to host these. And then I think we started eventually charging like $5, but it was just about being around people. But in that same vein, what happened was, I think we got there. When I say we, it might be me and my wife. We were probably dating at the time. We got there, we set up, and like not that many people showed up. And I remember for the first time, I started asking myself, like, well, why am I fighting rush hour traffic, bringing food, lugging my projector, doing all this for like $5? And that was the first time I started thinking, like, why don't we just do the seminar online and everybody could just go home, jump on the Zoom. Nobody got to drive. When it's over, we don't have to drive. It actually wasn't even Zoom back then. It's like GoToWebinar, I think we were using. But so me just success for me was just like, how can I be around people talking about the stock market and how can I remove barriers? So I'm like, if I do a seminar in Metro Detroit, people on the West Side, Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, they can't drive over and be here. So it just started making sense of going online. So that was success in the early days. Success now in the membership for me is just making sure that my members are not just having financial success, but like if you interviewed or met one of my members in person, I want you to be like, where are you learning at? Like, who are you hanging around? I don't want you to meet my members and be like, who is they teacher? Because they ain't teaching them nothing. And what community they part of? Because I definitely don't want to join that. Like, so that's success to me now. It's like if you connect with one of my students, I want you to be like, oh, this must be a power trade student. And so that's success, not necessarily monetarily, but just that my students are successful and that we're represented out in the marketplace as like a people you want to be around and that know what they're talking about.
That is a great definition of success. I wish more people had that. Your students can be clearly identified as they learned from Power Trades University.
That's success to me. If you be like, oh, they must be learning from power trades, then that's success. If you walk away from one of my students and you're like, I don't want to go where they went, that's not a good sign.
No, it's not. In the last episode, you were talking about how you did this. You teach people how to make money trading options, and you did it with your own money first, and then you went and got a loan very in a calculated way, like not in a blind, I just need more money way, but you looked and you assessed the risk. And when I heard you talk about in like the very logical way that you looked at the loan and you're like, well, this is a loan. What's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? What's the interest rate on this loan? You're like, let's go. And you took that $10,000 and grew it as a, I don't think you said you were a freshman in university and you grew that to over $100,000.
Yeah, I was 21. I think it's my second year in college. But yeah, I was 21.
We'll get back to the episode in a moment. Do you need Facebook ads help? But maybe Facebook ad management is not right for your business at the moment, which is fine. But you would like my eyeballs on your ad campaign. I have a new offer. The people who've signed up for it so far are loving it. It's called Facebook Ad Setup to Success. In the next 30 days, you can work with me over 30 days. We will together set up your ad campaigns and get them running successfully the right way, the exact way that I do for my clients. That means you get 3 calls with me over the period of 30 days. And in between each of those calls, you get unlimited access to me, like Voxer, Slack. That means I'll show you how to set up the ad campaign, all the things you should consider. We'll also go in and look at your funnel, and I'll make recommendations to improve your funnel. And then in between each call, you get coaching from me still because you can record your screen, send me a message, say, hey, QUqədwo, what about this? Like, what would you do here in this ad, you know? And I'll respond to you that very same day. It's unlimited support from me and 3 calls from me. It's called Facebook Ad Setup to Success. And if you want my help, one-on-one coaching to run your ads, then click on the link in the description below or go to, you can see it on the bottom of the screen, theartofonlinebusiness.com/call. Theartofonlinebusiness.com/call. And I'm happy to help you successfully learn to run your own Facebook ads. A question on my mind is, somebody joins your membership, they know that they're there to use money to trade options and build wealth, but they're there, are your members new to trading options, or have they already had a good amount of experience and they just want to know how to refine the craft and the skills?
Yeah, great question. So we say we take you from a beginner to confident trader. And so if you are a complete beginner, we're the home for you. If you've been doing this for a while and not quite having the success, we're also the place for you. If you're doing this and you're having success, but you want a community and you want to network, we're the community for you. But if you've been doing this for a while and you think you know it all, you think you got nothing else to learn, everybody should just listen to you, then we're not the community for you. So, beginner to doing it, losing money, to doing it, making money, but want to be a part of a community where you can give back or also network with other high level, high thinkers of the stock market. That's who we typically attract. But if you want to like day trade, if you want to gamble, if you just kind of want to put it all on black. We we really not the place for you. If you're trying to get away from that and you wanna be strategic, have a game plan, take calculated risks, you know, that's that's who we attract, that's who we wanna attract, and we also kinda spit out organically everything else, you know?
Okay. Tactical question. What does before you answer, we gotta break down what is trading options. But my tactical question is, what does building the membership as far as sales and marketing, finding new members, how has that changed now? Because what year are you in having your membership so far?
I started this business like 12 years ago. So, I'm a good 12 years in.
So how has it changed acquiring new members now versus when you first started the membership? But first, what is options trading?
First of all, let's break down trading because people hear the word trading, they only hear day trading for some reason. And I think it's just the industry doesn't talk about any other type of trading. But there's other types of trading besides day trading. There's swing trading, there's options trade, there's all kinds of types of trading. Trading is just taking advantage of price movement, whether that's price movement down, price movement up, and you're taking advantage of what we like to call predictable, repeatable patterns. So that's trading. Those trades can happen over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. They don't have to happen day trading, meaning you got to be in front of your computer all day. When you're trading options, options is the ability to control the stock without actually owning or buying the stock. You know, it's kind of, you look at a stock that may be trading at $100 and you buy a $100 option. That means you have the right to buy that stock for $100 maybe within 30 days. So if you paid $3 for that contract, if in 30 days that stock is trading at $110, well, that piece of paper is worth $10 now because you have the right to buy the stock at 100. If it's trading at 110, then that piece of paper is worth 10 bucks. If you paid $3 for that piece of paper, you could sell it for 10, you make $7 profit. But you never had to come up with the actual $100 to buy the stock. You just had the right to buy it at 100. So that's what options is. It allows you to control higher price stocks for a fraction of the cost.
All right. I think I got a good understanding too. I thought it was the same as day trading. So thank you for educating me there.
Yeah, no, no. Trading happens in different time frames, and then there's stock trading and there's options trading.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm linking up your website in the description below so that the listener can also educate themselves too. I wanna know, what does acquiring new members, how has that changed in 12 years? So, like, give us a snapshot of how you were growing the membership when it was growing versus now.
I'm glad we're talking about this because I just came from a event. It was a marketing event, and I was a speaker at, and the whole we talked about memberships and stuff there. The funny part is it hasn't changed in 12 years, and I recognize that more now than ever. Every time we try to do all the new hypey, interesting stuff, and we kind of realized like just go back to tried and true, which is just helping people. And so people want to build a membership. Sometimes I think because it sounds sexy, like I want a membership.
Recurring revenue.
Yeah, but you have to find a recurring problem first. And so if you don't have a recurring problem, you don't have a membership. Sometimes people just want to create everything into a membership. But I'm like, well, what's the recurring problem that you solve? For me, the stock market changes every day. So I have a recurring problem. You're like, what are we investing in today? Stuff I used to like isn't working anymore. Apple's getting sued now. Like what worked yesterday, last month, last year during the pandemic doesn't work right now. And there's always a new stock, a new way to trade it. There's interest rates, there's wars. So there's always a new problem. You need a new perspective on the stock market and what stocks you should be considering and what option trades. And so that is the key to first building a membership is what reoccurring problem can you solve? Second thing you need to decide is I like to say a membership has to support the main thing. And so my main thing is I teach people how to trade in the stock market. And so my foundational stock trading course, my options explain course, that's the main thing. People want support after they've gone through the course. They're like, I've gone through it, I get it, but where can I ask questions? Where can I see what you're trading? So that creates the demand for wanting to have community. A lot of people just want community and there's no demand for it. There's no main thing that even requires ongoing support. And so for me, acquiring memberships today is the same way it was back then. Teach people how to trade in the stock market and selling my courses, which creates the demand for needing ongoing support if you want to continue doing this, which then feeds the membership. It's just that simple. Don't make business no harder than it has to be. The more people I teach, the more people need ongoing support. I'm the next logical answer and step because they've already learned the initial steps from me. So why would they go somewhere else? And then sometimes people do go somewhere else because they want to trade Bitcoin or Forex or something that I don't teach. That's fine. But if they're sticking with stocks and options, it's the next logical step to be in membership and get support. Or they come out the gate with the courses and enrolling in the membership from day one. But it just makes sense because it's the next logical step. And so I mean, that's it. There's no, like, secret Facebook ad, there's no secret, YouTube strategy. It's just, like, create demand for the main thing that needs ongoing support, which will funnel into your membership.
Okay, well said. Tell me about churn. Like, if somebody was to ask you, starting out and then 12 years later until now, like, what are the things that you feel your business has done best to lower membership churn? And churn, as I define it, is the percentage of people that choose not to renew for the upcoming period. Like, how are you doing that?
Well, I think the first thing you gotta do is, like, wrap your head around churn, and we all want people to pay us for the rest of their life. I mean, that's reality, right? We'd love for people to pay us for the rest of our life. Truth is, how many times have you switched insurance companies, right? You need insurance on your car, you need insurance on your house, you probably switch every few years, right? And so, you have to understand that every customer has a lifetime value. It might be 3 years, might be 4 years, might be 2 years, might be 6 months. Your job is to try to increase it from 6 months to a year, from a year to 2 years, but at some point, they just either they don't trade anymore, they got everything they needed, they graduated, who knows? Like, life happens, people leave. The way I look at churn is, like, make sure we're controlling what we can control. Like, I don't want people churning because they couldn't log into the website. Like, that's a bad problem to have. I don't want people churning because we told them we gonna do a video every Monday, and then we canceled the last 3 Monday because I wanna be out playing golf or something. Like, control what you can control when it comes to churn. So, I feel good about our churn because we actually asked our members why they cancel. A lot of times, it's like, "My mom got sick. I don't actually even trade anymore." Like, I just found out it's not for me. I lost my job, or it's usually stuff that's like not necessarily in our control, which I feel good about because there's nothing we can do about life events, or you don't trade anymore. You want to go a different route with how you manage money, and so those are the things that we focus on. It's like, what can we control? The other thing I look at is different retention. I wouldn't say strategies because I don't like to look at my members as a strategy. I look at it as like, how can I help these folks even further? So, for example, you like inside my membership, you get, depending on which level you get 2 courses or 4 courses, depending on which level you come in at. So the courses are there for you to study on your own. And then the membership, the live session, we look at the stock market real time. We're applying what's taught in those courses. We're not teaching because the courses teach. The live sessions, we're actually applying. Well, I looked at that and said, some people go through the course, some people buy and don't go through the course. I don't know what the statistics are, but they say, some high percent of people who buy courses never even go through them. So I'm like, why don't we do this? Why don't we take the courses and break it up into a 4-week live session where we go through it with our members. So our members are like, I don't want to cancel. I want to go through that 4-week session. Once that's over, we might look at the next course and say, okay, next month or in 2 months, we're going through options explained together. And so those are little things that we do to, it's like, it's not a strategy. It's more just like, how can I help people? And if you're helping people, they don't want to cancel. They're like, I want to be part of that next 4-week session. I want to go through it live with the community. Sometimes we'll do like prizes. We'll be like, who can pick the best stock? And at the end of the month, who has the best portfolio, they'll get $100 gift card. So, how can you also make it fun? Trading doesn't always have to be serious, or any membership doesn't always have to be serious. But how can you try to make it fun? For a while, we stopped it. We might start it back. We were doing the book club, and so it was like we took Think and Grow Rich, and we were reading through it as a community. I also think where people feel like they're getting fed, their soul is getting fed, not just their pockets. Like, am I making money? But I think if they're becoming a better person, however you can construct that, whether that's through reading books, whether that's just, let's all get a coffee and jump online and just see how everybody's doing once a month. People look forward to that once a month connecting with their traders or their membership friends, whatever your industry might be. So at the end of the day, it's just really thinking about your members. It's not strategies and tactics. It's like really caring about people and looking for ways to serve. You want retention low, look for ways to serve. You want retention high, try to do at least as much as possible while they pay you every single month.
Wow, okay. Or retention, I think it's backward. Retention low.
Right, I meant if you want churn high is what I'm saying. If you want churn high, try to do as least as possible and get paid as much as possible. If you want churn low, try to serve as much. Try to look for opportunities to provide value, to your members. People don't understand the beauty in membership is I try to do what I couldn't do for you one-on-one. If I was gonna go through a 4-week session with just me and you, I'd be like, "You gotta pay me like 10 grand." Right? But if it's like, all right, it's 3, 4, 500 of us, 1,000 of us, it's like, okay, it's $99 a month. Like, now I can do something affordable because I can do it for the masses. So you want to serve because you can help more people, you can keep costs low and effective for most people. So I'm just always looking for unique ways to serve our community. That's the best retention strategy I can give you.
Thank you for sharing that. The listener right now, because most of the people listening have pretty decently successful online businesses, and some of them might be thinking, this is an opportunity to take some of those profits and multiply them. Where would they find out more about that and like you being able to teach them how to trade options and if it's a right fit for them?
I think all roads lead to the stock market, especially if you're an online business owner. I'm an online business owner, and we're all responsible for our own retirement. We're responsible for setting up our own IRA or self-directed IRA or 401k if we work for our company. So all roads lead back to the stock market anyway. Even people who's like, I hire it out to a guy. It's like, well, if you understand how it works, you are better suited to ask that guy or girl questions and even know if they're doing right by you or not. So everybody, in my opinion, should be educated, even if you're going to outsource it. That being said, I think the best way is, there's two ways. I always like to tell people, check me out for free, right? If you want to check me out paid, great. But I always say, check me out for free. And the reason I say that is because make sure I'm your style or your flavor, right? That's another thing when you talk about churn. I think we have low churn, low refunds because I'm not pressuring you like, well, you want to learn how to trade? Go buy my course first. It's like, actually, no. If you go to thebrownreport.com, you can see my blog posts, you can listen to my podcast, you can watch my YouTube videos. We also have something called the stock market starter pack. So if you're brand new, you're like, I don't know how to open an account. What should I be looking for? It's probably a 12-page PDF download that we put together called the stock market starter pack. If you're brand new to options, you've been trading stocks but want to know options, we got the option starter pack, which is also another free PDF download that walks you through how calls and put options works, gives you a worksheet to walk through the numbers. So I always tell people go to thebrownreport.com, check out my free content. If you decide there, this is my guy, then obviously they can come over to Power Trades University and pick up a package, and then we can work together even further. But that's also a good way to lower your churn is to not keep everything like behind a hidden wall. Let people experience it. And it's like, well, I hope you like this because I'm only going to do more of this in the membership. If you don't like this, don't join because this is you're going to get more of this.